United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, right side. So we have 4 minutes till we have the chief. What do you got for us?
God, right away.
Hey, I like to keep on schedule. He's at 5:35.
All right. We received the petition, but I'm questioning the format that it was presented in. We had this piece of paper dropped off. I'll bring it up and show you. Saying that we, the undersigned, petition the town of Granby to repair the dip in the road in front of 183 East. And it's signed by residents.
What is the dip in the road? Is it a pothole or is it
It's not a
an actual
pothole.
hill?
Basically, what it was is, when I spoke with David, the resident at 183 East Street had a water service put in. They cut the pavement. They didn't patch it correctly. So what happens is when trucks go across it, they have a tendency of bouncing. And when they're empty, they make a bang noise, like trucks will do. David has been out there trying to repair it many, many times. However, the pavement in that area has tire ruts in the road. It's not a smooth surface. So every time he tries to fix it, you still have the ruts when they come in, because his machines go flat, and you still have the ruts, and they still hit that bump. The only way you're gonna fix it is to replace the complete road in order to be able to get rid of that dip.
Is East Street on David's list of roads to be?
Probably about 2-3 years out.
Can't cut into it?
Yeah, cut it.
No,
Short section.
because as long as there's a wheel rut, no matter how small, you're always gonna get that bang noise. I'm asking David to come in and talk to you about it, because I understand when he says it, because the wheel rut, you have little indents, and you're repairing a flat spot. So no matter wherever you end that, you're still gonna have those wheel ruts, tire ruts.
How long was?
Yeah, how long?
I don't know.
All right, let's take a field trip. Let's go look.
Good luck. I'm not going out tonight to look at it.
All right, I'll drive out tomorrow and look at it. But yeah, you could have David and ask him to bring pictures so
All
I
right.
can get a visual on this.
I don't know if pictures will pick it up good enough, but I can ask him to.
If a company did it and it wasn't done properly, why don't we go?
Because we don't know the company that did it, because they never got a road opening permit from David in order to,
So was it the homeowner that did this, that put the service in?
Well, let's contact the
Well, then
homeowner.
let's contact the homeowner.
he's one of the people.
I see that.
Who
Let's contact-
petitioned.
I see that, yeah.
So the board needs to decide, are we gonna place it on the homeowner to
Yes.
repair it versus
Well, on
the town?
company that the homeowner utilized, they should be the ones repairing it if it's damaged due to them pulling it up.
Might have been his company. I believe it was.
Yeah, I mean, whoever the company was, and if
It
it's
was the
still in
homeowner's
business,
company?
that's.
I believe it was.
It was the homeowner's company.
Oh,
Well, that makes it easier.
That makes it a lot easier.
So before we address the petition, you want a letter sent to the homeowner?
Yes, please.
Well, two
Run it
things,
by Brian.
two things we need to, well, it wasn't properly permitted, that's one thing.
yeah.
However, two, that we make sure that it wasn't done properly, that's what's caused the problem. When we come down the road and find out that wasn't why the road's like that. There could be other reasons, I wanna make sure that's not the case, let's make sure that is the reason why it's like that.
It was fine, according to David, it was fine until they cut the road
When did this
open.
service go in?
I don't know. I didn't ask that question, I'm sorry.
It's been a few years.
So we have some follow-up questions probably for David.
And the homeowner.
Follow up the homeowner too, that's, whoever the company is, but the homeowner or not. the company
Well,
is
for the next meeting, you want me to invite David and the homeowner to come in so you can talk to them directly about it?
I think that would be,
find out the issues and concerns, what needs to be done to repair it, and then contact the homeowner, well, contact the company. I know that they're maybe one and the same, but in reality, they're two different people. So we'll contact the company that did the work. Because the company that did the work is a company that's licensed in the state, they're the ones that are responsible for it.
So you wanna have David come in the next meeting and then,
Right, I'd rather talk to David first, get all the facts in place before we talk to, or even issue a letter, send a letter to the company that performed the work.
Do you know the name of the company, Kevin?
I think is the resident's last name Bousquet?
Yes.
I believe Bousquet Construction, right? I'm pretty sure that's who did it. Because they have District 2 water over there, and they were somewhat newer, and then I think it's 227 or something, East Street also they did a service a few years later. And they have to, District 2 will put the water line in
it's
for them.
D2 or D1?
D2O. D2O,
No,
isn't it?
D1.
Is it D1?
Okay.
I'm sorry. Okay, so, no, well, this is, yeah, it's over in East Street, so they have them open up the road, and then they lay their pipe, and then they close everything back up, and so the homeowner is responsible, and I think that site, they also did their own work up the road, but nobody's complaining about that.
I have an issue with it not getting permitted.
Well, let's find out, make sure we have all the facts,
Yeah.
so we're just assuming.
All right.
Like I said, if it's properly permitted, then, or if it was properly permitted, then that's a concern, because that's why things are permitted, so they can be inspected after the work's done, make sure it's done properly.
And we think it was a couple years ago?
I bet you it's at least a couple of years ago.
All right, well now I'm 3 minutes late for you, Chief,
Okay,
so you're up.
okay. Which way would you like to go first? Would you like to?
Can you go sit at the seat of honor?
Hot seat.
I get the hot seat? We can do that.
You can turn the camera towards me when you go by.
Actually, it's in the screen just a little bit.
Is that,
Yes.
oh, directly at me, thanks.
No, you're off a little bit off to the side, just a
Which
little.
way do I move?
All right, so as the board's aware, we discussed some promotions a little while ago, as well as a couple of hirings. And we had a sergeant's exam for the sergeant, and then we had the police advisory board get together and talk with the candidates and make suggestions. So first, for the lieutenant, Gary Pohler was recommended to the board. Gary started with the department part-time in February 2001, went full-time in December of 2002, and was promoted to sergeant in March of 2012. During that time, he's been a field training officer. He's handled numerous grants and has been helping me out a lot with all the responsibilities of investigations and other things since Chief Wheatrap retired and I moved up. So he was recommended for the spot of lieutenant. For the spot of sergeant, Jason Richard was recommended by the police advisory board. Jason started part-time with us as a dispatcher in February of 2002. Became a part-time officer in August of 2002. Became a full-time officer in October of 2005. During that time, Jason's been a court officer, evidence officer, one of our firearms instructors, and been there for us numerous times for different things. He actually got put to work pretty hard the past week with our couple of drug houses. His evidence task was quite ambitious. And then with the cops hiring grant, we were awarded a grant for a full-time officer, and we had a couple applicants, and Officer Eric Jorgensen was recommended as the next full-time officer. Eric started with us as part-timer in September of 2007. He's worked numerous shifts, been available whenever we needed him, picks up numerous extra shifts. So again, he was suggested by the Police Advisory Board as our next full-time officer. With Eric's situation, it's going to be kind of like Officer Brooks' situation, where I'm asking that we give him a contingency officer offer, contingent on him completing either the Bridge Academy or a full-time academy, because there is no waivers right now, so we have to get him trained, and then we'll get him into a full-time spot. Officer Brooks is also here today because if all goes well tomorrow, he should get his exemption for the bridge and be done and ready to work. So basically, I know I told the board in the past that I would come here and discuss it with you when we're there. I think we're there. So I'd like to see if we could get him appointed as soon as possible after we officially know tomorrow that he is all set. So that meeting's at 10 o'clock. I plan on being on a Zoom meeting, attending, making sure everything goes well, and move forward. I wish we were in COVID times where I could call people up and kind of talk about them, but everybody's out there, you know?
We can pull them up. Actually, let's do that. Who wants to go first?
I think the sergeant should go first.
Oh, Sergeant Richard, come on up.
Administrators. Oh.
We'll hold the lieutenant till last.
So congratulations on this. Is there anything you'd like to say? I know you hate speaking.
I don't mind. I didn't prepare it.
No need to prepare.
No.
Tell us your thoughts.
It's gonna be a challenge. I know it's gonna be a challenge, and I'm ready for the challenge, and I'm looking forward to it.
Why would it be a challenge?
It's always a challenge to be in a leadership position. It's never an easy task.
Fair enough. Gentlemen?
What do you bring?
What do I bring?
Yeah.
A lot of leadership experience from the United States Army, 23 years to be exact. And a couple of deployments, an experienced police officer, and encountered just about every call that a small town police officer can encounter during my time working there. And I feel like I'm ready to step up and do a good job for the town.
That's more or less for a lot of people who are watching or don't know. I wanted some people to hear that you have a lot, obviously you have a lot to offer the town this year now, but if you can move into the rank of sergeant, you have a lot more to offer the town. Just from your years of service, as well as, I'd say, your dedication to the department, but also your knowledge and experience. Somebody just spoke about.
We got nothing for you. What shift are you gonna be working?
Right now, I'm gonna be working Sunday evenings, Monday, Tuesday day shift, and Wednesday, Thursday evenings.
Still doing the courthouse and stuff?
I do it on the side. I've been doing evidence all along.
Good job.
Congratulations.
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 Thank you.
You're dismissed.
At least I'm not fired.
No, no,
Yeah, not that guy.
not that kind of dismissed.
That was last week.
Well, the quickest promotion and they're done.
All right, Lieutenant. Wow, soon to be.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So, basically, I'd like to say thank you for the opportunity, honestly. It's been a long time coming. I feel like I've put my time in. I've worked my way through the ranks here. I think that I've been a pretty valued member of the supervisory staff as it is. I've enjoyed my role, and I look forward to increasing my role as far as administrative. It's not going to be easy either, but I'm ready.
Well, fair is fair. I asked Sergeant Richard, so I have to ask you, what do you bring
So, I don't bring the same thing Officer Richard brings, or Sergeant Richard, I should say. Jason brings a lot of experience from the military. I got most of my experience here, and life experience is what I bring to the table. I raised 2 children. They're both adults now. I have grandchildren. I've been a coach. I think I've been a mentor for many of the part-time officers, auxiliaries, and full-time officers at this point. I've trained almost every single officer we've had in this place, and I think I bring an awful lot of that experience to the table.
I would agree with you regarding being a mentor. I think that's seen just by, years ago being promoted to sergeant, now the opportunity, the chief speaking very highly of you, as well as the advisory board as well. Being promoted to lieutenant. So I think that speaks a lot about who you are and what you bring, excuse me, to the officers that are there now, the new brother sergeant, as well as the new officers that come along as well. So
Appreciate that.
glad to see it and glad to hear it.
Look forward to it.
So I do the same thing, what shift are you gonna be working?
Well,
All over?
I'm on a split shift. I work 3 to 11 and days. So I was always on 3 to 11. I've been on 3 to 11 for years. And I've always worked a 1-day shift. So because of the new position, I'm working a couple of eves and day shifts. So
Excellent.
I look forward to that too. It is what it is. Change is not a bad thing.
Nope, good. You get along with this guy over here, all right?
The chief? I think we got a great relationship.
Excellent.
I think our entire police department, for the most part, has a really good relationship.
I agree. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
So what do you think is going to be the most challenging thing about stepping up to lieutenant?
So honestly, I think it's the administrative role. I mean, I've been what they call a road cop for many years. I was that guy out there in the streets and writing motor vehicle citations and stopping cars and, community policing. That was always my role. And training. I've trained all these officers, so I'm always on the streets. And, being a lieutenant is gonna be a bigger paperwork role and sitting in front of a computer, and that's gonna be challenging for me. Sitting still is not an easy thing, but I'll get used to it.
Well, congratulations, sir.
Thank you, I appreciate
And
it.
I would agree with that too. I think if you're going from one role to another role, that's not just promotion, like you said, it's the whole administration piece, but not that you haven't done it as sergeant, but it is definitely a different role. And, I know Chief O'Grady has spent some time doing that role and understanding it, and I'm sure it's going to be very valuable to you to move you along as well. And we have the opportunity to give your experience to the new sergeants as well, because I'm sure someday they hope to be promoted as well.
Absolutely. The chief and I have had some conversations, especially as of late, more like an operations lieutenant, so he said to me the other day, he has to learn to sit on his hands a little bit. And there's gonna be times where I'm gonna have to learn to sit on my hands now, so.
That's
Good luck.
two new roles too.
Yeah, he got thrust right into it. Again, those investigations last week were very time-consuming and a lot of moving parts, and he did a great job.
Well, I
They all
think
did a great job.
As a department, you handled it brilliantly, so I think it's gonna work.
I agree.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for the opportunity, appreciate it. Am I dismissed?
You are dismissed.
Thank you.
Pretty sure this chief can dismiss you.
That's why I'm not going anywhere.
Officer Jorgensen. Hello,
Evening.
sir.
How you doing?
Thanks, how are you?
I'm good.
So for everybody out there watching, tell us about yourself.
So I've been with Granby, I've been in law enforcement for 17 years, been here with Granby since 2007. Work a tremendous amount of shifts every year. Been involved in a variety of different calls in my time here. Looking forward to changing it up from part-time status to full-time status. I'm here 3-4 days a week as it is now, so it's not going to really change a whole lot.
So you said you got got here in 2007? What made you come to Granby?
The opportunity that the part-time staff had. I originally started in Ag 1 as a special, but they just did road details. And here it was more of an opportunity to be on the road and be more involved.
So what's kept you in Granby?
The people, the town, the department, it's been a great opportunity for me over the years. I wouldn't think about going anywhere else.
That's what I'd like to hear.
Then I think, you spoke about why you came here, why you want to stay here, why you want to be here. Also, hearing from the chief as well, what you bring to the table, I think is important. And, as far as the lieutenant, Sergeant talking about, the department, how everybody fits in, everybody does well, everybody works together. It's always great to hear.
Yep.
Always happy to hear we have a new person that's fit right into it.
No,
Welcome, I have nothing for you. I'm sure you got thrilled by the committee too, already.
most definitely.
Most definitely. All right, what are you looking forward to most about becoming full-time?
I think finally having the benefits that go along with it.
Yeah, that's
Well, when you've been putting in those hours, I can see that, yes.
Yeah, but being able to be more involved, now that I'll be here on a full-time status and here on a more daily basis, I'll be able to be more active in some of the other investigations and things of that nature as, not being part-time, we're maybe not always here, so we're not always involved in every step of the process. Looking forward to being part of step 2 and 3 is intriguing to me.
Thank you.
Thank you, congratulations.
Thank you.
Chief, what's his start date?
I'm sorry?
Start date.
If we could start the sergeant, if possible, Sunday, because that was the beginning of a new pay period.
Sunday was it?
Sunday was the start of a new pay period, so that was
16.
the 16th.
16?
And then I think everybody else is contingent. The lieutenant would be contingent upon contract negotiations. And Eric would be contingent on completing some type of academy, bridge or
Bridge or full-time?
full-time. It's looking more like bridge right now. It doesn't even look like there's gonna be a full-time academy that'll even start before early to mid-June. If that's the case, we can probably have him bridged by mid-August. If they don't, they may even let me get him in, the A through H's had to be started by April 1st. So I'm hoping that'll open up. If you didn't start by then, maybe I can at least start him and maybe even have him done sooner. But again, that's all with the MPTC, so I'll be on them as soon as we can to figure out what we can do, so. And
Sergeant
both-
Richard, is he back there somewhere?
And
Yeah, he's in the corner.
Well, since they started paying you for this on Sunday, you get a little extra work the rest of the week.
I already got that covered.
he has.
He's been working hard.
He's been trucking marijuana all over town. I mean, town, state, it's literally legally trucking marijuana, trying to get this case going and, the evidence to the people that need it, the state police, and, I don't know if you folks had a chance, and I don't wanna go and screw up your agenda at all, but if you read my, weekly report this week, all the town offices were awesome with this. I mean, what do you do with 1,400 pounds of marijuana, for crying out loud? Dave DeRozier was able to give us a dump truck with a driver, so we could weigh his truck, come down, load up the truck, go back and weigh it, and have a measurement. The building maintenance department gave us the van and a driver, so, because we seized a whole bunch of grow lights and stuff that hopefully we'll be able to auction off at some point. They were awesome with helping out with that. Fire department had somebody on standby because these grows, they got all kinds of stuff going on in there. So we actually had a hazmat team here to start, so we had to make sure that those guys were safe after they came out, as well as everybody cleaning this mess up. And then the building inspector jumped right on it for us Wednesday afternoon. I know he wasn't around for Fridays, but gave us contact information for our backup, and we've been working on it. So just would like to thank the departments. It was awesome. I mean, it just shows how well everybody works together in town. I contacted Mr. Martin, and things were rolling right away, so it was awesome.
What would you like to hear? collaboration.
I think, Chief, and, you know, kind of talking about your report, things like that. And I know everybody always talks about Granby being a small town, small department, small police force. But, you know, working with the state agencies, state police, working with the federal agencies and stuff like that, I think it just says, and so much professionalism that went along with that. And getting, you know, which was a huge bust, I guess, to put it that way. And I think it just says a lot for our department, your department.
Oh, it definitely does. The state, I didn't even mention, our detectives were awesome. Both of them worked on that case. They're actually helping the state with other cases. I mean, this is a large network that, you know, they've been involved with different meetings and assisting. It's just,
Well, it's good, I could say that, you know, I know it speaks to your leadership. I think it speaks for former Chief Richard, his leadership, and what, you know, the department is and stuff like that. I think it just sends such a strong message to people that, you know, it's about being a professional. I think you guys, all of you, that's what you bring. I think it's important.
they clean up pretty good too, huh?
You didn't even recognize them when they walked in.
Chief, what do you expect the timeline on that? Trial, court, and,
No idea. I know, well, the one arrest we had so far, there should be at least a couple more arrests probably coming at some point, or warrants coming.
yeah.
I know the gentleman was arraigned on Friday, I think it turned out to be. No, Thursday. He got arrested Wednesday, so he got arraigned Thursday, because they had to wait, delay a day. Last we heard, he's held on $30,000 bail, and
Did he end up in federal court, or is it gonna stay?
no, it's gonna stay
Superior.
local. He will end up in Superior Court. That trafficking charge cannot get handled at district court, so he'll be in the Superior Court.
Pick it up.
That's why with the investigation, the FBI assisted with some of the stuff we needed,
Yep.
but they wanted us to handle it in the state.
Very good. More for sure in the houses.
We're hoping so, yep. We were talking to the district attorney's office about that. We did seize one vehicle, and like I said, Gary'd have to help me out, 80 grow lights or something like that?
There was a total, Jason, it was 70-something grow lights, correct? 70 small and
Yeah, so for
something
heat
large.
lamps, we were over 80, and for grow lights, we were around 75.
Yeah.
And then there's numerous fans, dehumidifiers, timer switches.
Vacuum
Before we
sealers.
go any further, is this all public knowledge?
I'm
It
sorry.
is now.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yes.
You're not out there. Blow the case here.
No. No.
It is now.
Lots of stuff.
Yeah, we seized lots of stuff,
Yeah, that's
so,
a good answer.
but we are working on forfeiture for houses too, so.
Excellent.
In vehicles.
Right.
Excellent. You know, applaud you to the whole department for working on that case. That's a great job.
Yeah, everyone here was involved, and like I say, several more. I mean, most of the department had some kind of information on things, and been a long time coming. It's a large project to investigate, and they all did a great job. Can't say enough about that.
Yep, I'll agree with you 100% on that.
Mhm.
I'm just a little concerned, okay, as a Granby resident. All right, before I moved to town, probably like 27, 28 years ago, the property that I'm on, someone was growing marijuana on that property on Amherst Street too. Now down the street it's happening. I get a little concerned now at Amherst Street.
There was no outdoor growing in this house.
Just means we got good soil.
We are a farming community. Alrighty, Officer Brooks. We have much to feel left out.
Well, I appreciate it. Good evening.
Talk to us.
So I guess I'd like to open by saying, I'm very appreciative from the standpoint of, I guess, life fulfillment, right? That the community, through the select board, has entrusted me with this responsibility in, helping the community be safe, helping residents be part of the team that, residents call when they need help for something, regardless of what it is. I think that for me, in terms of my own happiness, getting up every day to, meet and exceed that expectation, it feels really good that people expect that of me and trust me in that way. So again, I want to express my gratitude to the select board that you've given me this really wonderful opportunity.
You can't see my mask, but I'm smiling because I like how you put that. Thank you.
Is this your first, law enforcement job?
Yes, sir. I started here as an auxiliary in 2017 and 2020 part-time, and now hopefully soon full-time.
Excellent. That's what I did.
What time is your meeting tomorrow?
10 o'clock.
10 o'clock. So we should have an answer by 11.
I'd say so, yes.
So what are you most looking forward to?
Well, I'm looking forward to, well, it's a challenge, but it's also something I'm looking forward to. When you become a full-time officer, there's an expectation that you're to perform at that level, right? So previously, although that's changed now with police reform, your level of training is higher, you have more hours of training. You're expected to, have a higher level of mastery with your profession, right? So I feel confident in being able to do that, but coming to work every day, there's an even higher standard that I'm going to set for myself that I want to meet, when I'm performing my duty as a police officer, now in a full-time role more frequently.
Thank you. You got nothing else?
I don't, just to hear you talk and how you express yourself about working for the police department, it says it all, right there.
Thank you.
Very well. You got anything else?
No.
You're dismissed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If anybody needs a mask, obviously you must be the dispensary.
He's being safe.
It's a good officer, always ready.
Absolutely, you're always prepared.
He's always prepared.
Always
Are
prepared.
you a Boy Scout too?
Briefly.
See? Alrighty, so, I don't even know what today's date is. 18th, so 19th? So tomorrow we get the 19th, right? All right, so do we want to do this one at a time, or do we want to do this in bulk, gentlemen?
I'll do it one at a time.
All right, so is there a motion for Sergeant Richard?
Make a motion for appointment of Richards to the, and patrolman to, sergeant.
As of, we're doing the 16th,
Please.
so.
As of December 16th.
January 16th.
Of
Well,
January.
easy.
I read the date.
You can't make up all that work.
January, well, it's got a December 16th date here.
Yeah, that's what we got together.
Yep.
January 16th, 2021.
22.
22, sorry.
Oh, Rick,
Thank you.
you're just really.
I know, I'm reading this in the show.
I'll second Rick's motion.
Appointment through, someone want to add that?
When's the contract up? 23?
2023.
2023, right?
So let's do it through 20, because I think we do everybody, all the police are done on a 3-year
Correct.
time frame. So let's do them through 2023.
Okay, so June 30th, 2023?
You had a second, Glenn?
Yes, that was a second.
Is there any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Congratulations, Sergeant. Do we have a motion for Lieutenant?
I'll make a motion that we promote Sergeant Gary Pohler to the rank of lieutenant for the Granby Police Department. Start on January 16th, 2000.
No.
No, upon successful
That's our
Lieutenant.
contract.
negotiation of a contract.
Okay, pending negotiation.
I'll second Rick's motion.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations, Lieutenant.
Thank you.
I'm sure we'll have a successful contract negotiation.
I'm sure we will. I'm confident.
Alrighty, do we have a motion for contingent full-time for Officer Jorgensen?
Make a motion that we accept the appointment of Patrolman Eric Jorgensen to a contingent full-time position starting.
Upon completion of the Bridge Academy.
I'll second the motion.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations, Officer
Thank you.
Jorgensen. Alrighty, Officer Brooks.
Officer Brooks was already appointed as a full-time officer upon completion of the Bridge Academy.
Yes,
Yes.
he is. I was going to say that.
Hmm?
I wasn't asking for a motion.
So we just, hopefully tomorrow about 11 o'clock, we should have.
I was going to say,
Good to
Officer
go.
Brooks, hopefully by tomorrow morning at 11 a.m., we will be good to go. So that is that, gentlemen. You guys gonna stay and hang out and watch the rest of the meeting?
Would you like us to?
Then we better stand clear of the door, because I think people are ready to run.
I think we actually have two people that are here patrolling.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, we gotta get that back out there, but, I'd like to thank the board. Again, these are great decisions. Police Advisory Board made great recommendations, and couldn't be happier. I think we got a great group, and everybody works well together, and it's quite evident, like I said, with everything we've been dealing with recently, so. And just overall, I mean, but everybody stepped up when needed. Just an awesome group.
You have a wonderful group of officers.
We absolutely do.
We are very lucky to have all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations, guys. Have a
Thank
safe
you.
and fruitful career.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you, good night.
Good night, Chris.
Yeah, have a good one. Have a good one.
In fact, nobody, oh, Misha's here. Thanks, you're sitting so far in the back.
I'm always writing.
Did we have any citizen participation? I'm asking, she's a citizen.
If she had filled out a form, it would have been sitting on the desk in front of you.
Oh, she's been back there on my writing, so I don't know.
She could still be putting one up. All right, what else do you have for us for correspondence?
Correspondence, the tax rate was approved. And I believe we got a letter from the precincting or elections division talking about that there's gonna be a meeting deciding if they're gonna let us remain as 2 or go down to 1, so. Even though we petitioned to remain at 2.
I was gonna say, I thought we petitioned.
Yes, we did.
It's not
But they
settled.
still have to approve it.
Okay. And that was it?
Outside of that, it's just, other people's minutes and things of that nature. Minor details,
Minor details?
yes.
All right, so we will move forward to departmental reports. Does anybody have any questions or anything they wanted to discuss, mention?
I know.
I don't have some, I'll accept a motion.
That's 2 weeks.
Yeah, Richard, to,
Yeah. I'll make a motion that we accept the department report. Last week of December. And the first week of January 2022, the last week of December of 2021. January 18th of 2022.
is there a second?
I'll second this motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
So it looks like we have 3 maintenance warrants?
Actually, you have 6.
We have 6.
Yes, because you didn't do any at the last meeting that you canceled.
Okay.
Okay. First one is warrant number 39, dated 12/23/21 for $433,515.67. That is a payroll warrant. Warrant number 40, dated 12/23/21 for $180,189.95. That is the maintenance warrant that goes along with the payroll warrant. Warrant number 41, dated 12/31/21, in the amount of $475,225.48. That is a bill paying warrant. Warrant number 42, dated January 7th, 2022, in the amount of $439,088.69. That is a payroll warrant. Warrant number 43, dated January 7th, 2022, in the amount of $76,755.39. That is a maintenance warrant that goes with the payroll warrant. And warrant number 44, dated 1/14/22, in the amount of $391,032.57, and that is a bill paying warrant.
Motion?
I give that we approve second maintenance warrants number 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, and 44.
I'll second Rick's motion.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, and we have 2022 junk license?
You have number 22-02, junk license to Mark Kendall Jr., doing business as The Gold Standard, 185 West State Street, Granby, Mass. 01033, for the purchase, sale, or barter of junk, old metals, or secondhand articles. License expires December 31st, 2022, fee of $5. Do you want me to bring these up as I do them, or do you want me to bring them all up at once?
Bring them all over.
Okay, that's the only junk license we have at this point.
Your motion?
Make a motion that we approve and sign the junk license number 22-2 with the expiration date of 12/31.
Is there a second?
I'll second Rick's motion.
Discussion? All in favor?
Like after, what, 50, 100 years, they come up with a better word than
The
junk
junk, I know.
still.
Well, secondhand, I guess you could call it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not junk though, that's.
Junk.
Somebody's junk is someone else's gold. Yeah,
Well, that's kind of what.
yeah. Just like the same thing with trash. Someone's trash is someone else's gold.
Maybe they, so many years, more of a better term
Better
for
term for
the
it.
license, so, junk.
All right, let's talk common vic licenses.
Okay, we have number 22-11, Subway of Westfield, doing business as Subway, number 54290, 47 West State Street, Granby, Mass. 01033, fee $25, expires December 31st, 2022. Then we have number 22-12, AAH Corp., Dunkin' Donuts, 77 West State Street, Granby, Mass. 01033, fee $25, expiring 12/31/2022. Next, we have number 22-13, Luindi Espinal, doing business as Gallo Pinto, 74 Pleasant Street, Granby, Mass. 01033, 12 p.m. to 10 p.m. daily. Fee $25, expires December 31st, 2022. Next one is number 22-14, Cumberland Farms, number 6698, West State and Pleasant Street, Granby, Mass. 01033. Fee $25. Expires December 31st, 2022. Next one is number 22-15, Dickinson Farms, 309 East State Street, Granby, Mass. 01033. Fee $25. Expires December 31st, 2022. Next one is number 22-16, La Flamme's Garden Center, doing business as Dickinson Farms, 134 South Street, Granby, Mass. 01033. Fee $25. Expires December 31st, 2022. Next one is number 22-17, Sapowski Farms, 434 East State Street, Granby, Mass. 01033. Fee $25. Expires December 31st, 2022, or 2022. Next one is number 22-18, Granby Pharmacy, Inc., doing business as Center Pharmacy, 242 State Street, Granby, Mass. 01033. Fee $25. Expiring December 31st, 2022. Next one is number 22-19, Granby Booster Club, 385 East State Street, Granby, Mass. 01033. Fee $25. Expires December 31st, 2022. I would make a suggestion that the board on this one waive the fee. That is my own suggestion, but it is the board's choice.
I would like that suggestion.
Next one, we have number 22-20, Early Mug LLC, 337 East State Street, Granby, Mass. 01033. Fee $25. Expires December 31st, 2022. Next one is number 22-21, DG Retail LLC, DBA Dollar General Store, number 20007, 180 West State Street, Granby, Mass. 01033. Fee $25. Expires December 31st, 2022. And that's it.
Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the plan of common victual licenses, number 22-11, expiring on 12/31/22, 22-12, expiring on 12/31/22, 22-13, expiring on 12/31/2022, 22-14, expiring on 12/31/22, 22-15, expiring on 12/31/22, 22-16, expiring on 12/31/2022, 22-17, expiring on 12/31/2022, 22-18, expiring on 12/31/22, 22-19, expiring on 12/31/2022, 22-20, expiring on 12/31/22, 22-21, expiring on 12/31/22, 22-19, I believe we were making a motion to have the fee waived.
second Rick's motion.
Discussion?
The fee being waived is for the Granby.
Granby.
Granby
Right.
District Club 2219. Is that the discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Class threes?
Okay, as part of this, I just want to let the board know that Suzuki of Western Mass, Inc., doing business as All Power, their Class 1 license is not being renewed. Also, Suzuki of Western Mass, Inc., doing business as All Power, their Class 3 license is not being renewed. And currently, AMAJ, Inc., doing business as AJ Auto Body, Class 2 license. They're still to be in front of the planning board for their expansion of use. So that one may be coming in at a later date after he goes through the planning review process.
That was like 6 months ago, 9 months ago.
Yep. Don't ask me what's holding them up. I don't know what's going on with the planning board on that one. So if you want, we can send a letter asking him the status if you so desire.
I like to know the status, just that we're into a new year and a new license.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to know the status before we go too far into the new year.
Okay. And for the motor vehicle junk license, Class 3, again, your junk. Number 3-0003, Narakis Inc., doing business as Granby Auto Salvage, 115 School Street, Granby, Mass., which is 9+ acres at 115 School Street. Expires January 1, 2023, fee $50.
What's the expiration date again?
January 1, 2023. We changed the date on it to make you have to think about that one.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve and sign the Class 3 renewal for 3-003. The expiration date of January 1st, 2023.
I'll second Rick's motion.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so now we have water main update.
And on that, you have a meeting scheduled with South Hadley Water District 1 for 6 PM on Thursday, January 20th, at their district offices.
That's one, we'll do, right?
Yeah, it's 438 Granby Road.
Sits in the back there.
It's right next to the little pond there, the
Yeah,
reservoir.
Before, when I went on.
Yes.
I'm going to do my best to be there before 6 o'clock. I might be right on the nose. Depends on when my last student leaves. Okay. Usually I'm not by myself, but I am this Thursday, but I will be there. Do we have, I'm sure she's already on top of it, but, you know, can we give a list of all of the properties?
I'm sure Kathy has a list already.
I'm sure she does.
And we have one other person who's interested in being able to sign up. That would be AJ's, is interested in the water main project. I don't want to talk to him too much until I know it's a go, and
That's fair.
we go forward from there.
Well,
Okay.
interesting piece is that, All Power, because I know we took deposits from people, right?
Mhm.
So we should be probably thinking about what All Power plan on doing. 'Cause
He's probably going to continue because the thing is, it would be a beneficial
Yeah,
item for him if he's in the process of selling that building and site.
probably worth just contacting them, so it makes sense, but just still.
I think he was still interested, but I think he was also talking about adding on the one for where AJ's was, because I think he had signed up All Power ahead of time.
Yes, All Power is already on
but he didn't sign up the other building at 39 West State. So,
So if we can just get that updated, so that way we have,
okay,
and I'll go through and I'll print out the email between us and Devon.
all right,
So we make sure that we've covered all the conditions.
okay. And before we go into executive session, 2 items. There is a phone call scheduled for tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock with MSBA. I've been invited to partake in that meeting along with some school personnel to talk about funding of the project or possibly the feasibility study. Don't know exactly what the conversation is going to revolve around, but I just want to let the board know that that is going forward. And the other item is today I submitted an application on behalf of the fire department for a SAFER grant, which is basically looking for 3 additional fire personnel, fire ambulance personnel, so that we can have better response times, if I'm correct. And we don't jeopardize the lives of any of our current employees responding to any fires. I don't know if Micheline can add anything more to it than what I just said.
We spoke a little bit about that
Yeah,
before,
fire
right?
department.
Just the mandatory numbers that we would need to.
Yes, I also gave Chris extra paperwork too to explain our response times and 10-minute response. Because out of our 84 calls, 38% of the time, we make it under 10 minutes to respond. That's pretty low number for responding for fire calls. That's the whole point of adding 3 more members, so we can get the truck rolling to respond.
Okay. I mean, do you know the reasons why it's lower than what you would expect it to be? Or the reasons
Well, because,
behind it?
at night, out of our 4 days, as soon as I go back to the regular shift, our 4 days, because it's our rotation, we don't have a firefighter to drive. And sometimes you have guys who show up who are not trained to drive a truck, so there's a delay in getting the truck out.
Okay.
It's just become more efficient.
Yeah, it's always good.
How many years is that grant?
It's 36 months for the grant, and
Okay.
it would cover the 3 positions for 36 months.
Okay.
So it gives the time for the town to adjust and make the adaptation that they need to do to take over after the 36 months.
Yeah, that was my question. I don't think you, couldn't remember if we discussed it when we talked about it during budget. And when do we expect to hear from this?
Each grant's usually almost
I think the final date that they're due was February 3rd.
Okay.
So I would figure probably a week after that, week to 2 weeks
So like
probably after that.
February.
Yeah.
We were absent a shift, no
I'm sorry?
coverage on a certain night last week or the week before, I forgot.
myself.
No, there was a shift that wasn't covered.
That was when you were out, remember?
Oh, yes, when I was out, there's 2 shifts that weren't covered at night because I wasn't there to cover it. In this past month. So, yeah.
Was there a need to call D2 work out tonight?
Well, they covered for us. They also covered for us because of the events that happened with the police department this week.
Yeah.
And so I had them coming to assist us because it turned out to be a busy day. And then again, I put 2 extra people on just to cover during that process that they were doing. And again, another busy day that we had a lot of calls.
Okay.
All right. Did you have anything else for us, Chris?
No, not at this point in time.
Rick, do you have anything? Ken?
Oh, you're gonna have some information in regards to our discussion about Do Things Park and all that information, you know, put together for us.
Yeah, I just gotta, I gotta sit down and put it together, yes.
Just checking on it, because
Yeah.
again, I know we don't have a parks committee, so basically I'd like to look forward to kind of stay on top of that, to a parks committee in place with some members.
Oh, what they call Friends of Dufrank, the one we called them before?
Huh?
But they're not a town
They're not-
department.
Not a town.
They're not,
They're a private 501c3.
Got it, okay.
And like I said, I want to make sure that this board, it's our responsibility to really appoint someone, so without having someone in that committee, I think it's one that we kind of stay on top of it, that's all. The different parts, there's, winter and stuff moving along, and spring will be here before we know it, and we'll be off and running again.
Yep. I don't know, do the board want to talk about the final ARPA rule?
do we have the final ARPA rule?
Remember, well,
I mean, do we understand it, I guess? I should say, not do we have it, do we understand it?
I thought Brian was supposed to get back.
He did.
he did,
Just that one letter?
that one email. Just so the residents know, the American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA, as we all refer to it as, was that last federal government plan to try and kickstart the economy due to the COVID shutdown and the effects it had on the economy. And our allocation of that act is about $1,800,000. Okay. The U.S. Treasury has been developing what they call a final rule on what it can be spent on. They've been changing the rule probably every 3-4 months as they've been going along. Under the final rule, which becomes effective April 1st, 2022, they had listened to some smaller communities who are getting smaller amounts than a lot of the larger communities, and therefore a lot of the projects that they were talking about, the smaller communities couldn't do. So they created a new category called revenue replacement, loss of revenue. Okay. Under that, there's two ways of a town determining their loss of revenue. The first one is they can take a standard deduction or a standard allowance of up to $10 million. No calculations, nothing done. The town can apply for ARPA funds up to $10 million as long as they spend the funds on government services with certain restrictions, okay? You can't put it into a retirement fund to pay an OPEB liability, to pay for debt service. You can't replace tax revenue that you turn around and reduce the tax rate on purpose. And the other item is capital expenditures. You can spend, but it should be under $1 million per capital project, okay? We will have to report to them what we spend the money on, but the easiest part for us would probably be to go under the loss of revenue one. Take the full amount under that of the 1.8 million and then be able to try and spend it on items for government services. The money has to be committed no later than December 31st of 2024, and all funds have to be expended by December 31st of 2026. So that's the new rule. That's the final rule. And I did write to town council asking his opinion on what his thoughts were on the overview and the final rule, and he had sent an email back to the board outlining his interpretation of the final rule as he determined from reading, number one, the final rule and the overview.
Okay. So, I mean, it sounds like we could use it for things like infrastructure, other things like that.
Buying cruisers, buying an ambulance, buying, doing some road work, doing, it's up to the board to decide how they so want to spend the funds. I know the board indicated that they wanted to try and, if the Route 202 water main project is still a go, he'd like to use some of those funds for that project.
That was my question.
In addition to that 1.2 million
We've already voted on.
that was already approved by the town meeting.
Yeah, I guess I was just clarifying that we could use that towards this project if we are.
But like,
able to afford.
like council said, we have to make sure we try not to spend over $1 million on a capital project.
Right. Well, we don't need that much for this project, right?
I don't know where that process is. At one point, it was like 1.5 million, but it could be 1.8 million, so we may need up to 600,000 or a little bit more. Don't know. Don't know what the current prices are.
A lot of stuff's gone up, especially,
Yeah.
like asphalt that's made out of.
Oil, anything oil-related products.
Just labor itself and everything else go along with it, so.
All right, well, let's get through Thursday's meeting and hope that we're able to move forward with this. And then we'll figure out how much we need. Anybody else have anything else? All right, in that case, I move that we move into executive session under Mass General Law 30A-21A-7 and.
No, we're not gonna do the second one.
Oh, we're not?
No.
Okay. Works for me.
And under that section, it's, we are going under HIPAA regulations, which, there is confidential information that will be shared with the board that is not, for public consumption.
All right, so I will take a roll call. Silva, aye.
Second,
Yeah.
All righty, we will be returning only to.